So, boys and girls, it's the 4 Outdoorsmen on AliveAndSocial.com. Thanks for downloading, checking out our little podcast.
You know, if you would have let that play for about another 45 minutes, we wouldn't have to say a damn thing.
I know it. Well,
that's good music.
That is good music.
By the way,
yes.
Did you tape the CDs I gave you?
No, I did not tape the CDs you gave me.
You're so goddamn selfish.
I am selfish. No, I'm not even that sophisticated to be selfish. I'm just very forgetful. They're sitting right over there on that shelf. And,
but one thing you did not forget
At least
today,
he tried to cover it up over there, Zep.
Yeah.
No.
So it didn't look like he had done that.
One thing Zep did not forget tonight, and if he sounds a little edgy tonight, folks,
Yeah.
you listen to the 4 Outdoorsmen tonight. One thing Zep did not forget is that he bought some kind of a Christmas present.
An expensive Christmas
present. About $500-$600, and he said to the people, I will pick it up. He just got a text a little while ago that said it's on his front doorstep, which means it's not going to be there after the show.
Is it a big gift, Zep, like someone walking down the street might notice it?
It's in a box. It's probably
gone.
about the size.
It's gone.
You could probably get Sophie in the box.
Yeah. What do you think, Sophie? You want to fit in a
gone.
box in Zep's front yard?
So, anyway, I don't just call the cops on a deal like that.
So Zep's going to turn this into about a 15-minute
boy.
show. So
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the 4 Outdoorsmen tonight.
Yeah, and thanks for listening to us on the 4 Outdoorsmen on Alive and Social
That's
or
Boomer,
iTunes.
that's Boomer over there.
Or www.the4outdoorsmen.com. And don't forget to follow us. And thank you for all our fans. I think we're almost 2,000 fans strong on social media on Facebook. So thank you for following us on that as well.
Yeah,
Thank
we have
you.
a lot of fun.
Hey, I tell you what, guys.
Yeah.
We're finally making some ice out there, huh?
Yeah, finally. Yeah, you're right. We've got some good cold temperatures at night. Good grief, there was a little snow in the grass this morning when I got out of bed. So, that's cool. Yeah, it's. I don't know what are the conditions. We're not up to ice report.
No,
weather.
that's
You know
Boomer.
what,
That's
though?
Boomer's
We're
job.
gonna have a little teaser with the ice report right now, and then probably next week we'll have a full blown out lake ice fishing report. But our good friends up there in Devil's Lake were reported that some of those smaller lakes right off of Devil's Lake, you got Lake Irving and Lake Alice. They're boasting about 8 to 10 inches of ice already.
Really?
And folks were just smoking the walleyes in Devil's Lake in about 6 to 7 feet of water up on Irving and Alice with some type of blade spoon and some minnow heads. So, the ice fishing fever, Creo Bay now up on Devil's Lake is frozen over. And they're seeing some good reports up there. And I just talked to our friend Scotty Merwin from Lake Osakis Guide Service.
Great guy, by the way.
Great guy. We talk about Osakis. It was hot. It was on the radar screen this entire fishing season. And he said they got about 3 to 4 inches of ice on Osakis on the north end already. So
Osakis, you see.
And Bowstring, huh? That
pretty good
crappie
range.
lake, and where we did walleye opener a couple years ago at Geiger's Trails Inn Resort, up on the north end there, I believe they got about 5 to 6 inches of ice as well. So it's finally nice to see that Old Man Winter has kicked in, and we're starting to get some good ice out there. So folks
I can
go
picture a
chase
lot
them
of the
over
guys who were
holidays.
avid fishermen like you and Jiggy and all these guys and Scotty. They've got to be going crazy. They just have to be like little kids in a candy store waiting to get out there. I think it's going to be a great, great season because they're out there right now. It's pretty exciting right now.
Well, you know what? As a state, we had a really good fishing season in the open water. It was a little chillier this year than last year, and so what happened with that, as far as it, the trees started to turn colors a little bit quicker last year versus this year, and we had a good bite that started early and lasted long into the fall.
Yeah.
And we're having some good ice that's now. There were some people that were pessimists. When's it going to? Well, guess what, folks? We're in the land of 10,000 lakes in Minnesota. It's going to get cold, and it's going to freeze up.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see that. And I'm starting to see on Facebook already, like Upper Red Lake.
Huge crappie.
Huge crappies up there.
Huge.
But the walleyes are popping on Upper Red Lake right now, too. I don't have the latest ice report on that because that one is kind of open and closed. But I believe Upper Red Lake closed up on last Wednesday, and I've been seeing some pictures of folks putting walleyes on the ice up there,
I'm
too.
so excited because, remember at the Wildwood Lions Club, of which I'm a member, they had the Wildwood Lions Sportsman's Dinner last year, of which, remind me tonight, boys,
Yes.
I've got your tickets. You guys are going to go to the Wildwood Lions.
When is the date on that?
It's
Stu?
March 7th. I think it's the first Monday in March. Okay. And so stop by, but it's a great, great time. We'll talk more about that later on. But last year, my buddy Wade Ryan and I outbid everybody and bought Adam Griffith for 4 hours of fishing in some local lake ice fishing.
Lake
you
X,
you tell me Adam Griffith is the crappie guru, and I'm guessing within 3 weeks he's going to take us out there and try to catch a few crappies.
Yeah, I'm guessing here in the metro area, if we keep these temps like this, and Also, snow plays a huge factor, too. Most folks sometimes don't think about that, but when you get that wet, sleet kind of snow that comes in, that can make some tough ice sometimes, and then that can kind of insulate the ice from being made in the water, too. So we want to stay away from a lot of snowfall. We want to keep these temps cold, and we'll be out on the Metro Lake soon enough. But, I'm a little thirsty here, and speaking of thirst, Zep, what's one of our sponsors that's making this all happen for us? What do you got over there, buddy?
Your fine Rocky Mountain Brewed Coors Light. And look, that label is about as blue as it gets. That's ice cold right there, boys and girls.
And I'm telling you, if you want to see a picture with Zep holding a cool Coors Light with blue, just check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/the4outdoorsmen.
Is that something they can print out?
I think they can.
That's my Christmas card to you, then.
I think you can.
Zep doesn't often drink, but when he drinks Coors Light.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brian, how was your week, buddy? Haven't seen you. Well, I did see you Sunday for a while, but how was the rest of your week? What did you accomplish?
Well, since I saw you, I slept and ate, basically. No, I don't recall what I did. I've got to start thinking. I've got to keep notes. I don't know what I've been up to. No good.
Did you have a KQRS gig this week?
Saturday night, I was down at the Venue 13. We had a big band down there, Journey, Sticks, and REO Speedwagon cover band, and the joint was packed.
And they sounded good.
They sounded great. I've Arch Allies, the name of the band, and anybody that's local here in the Metro has probably heard of them. They're a very good band, and the joint was packed, and the dance floor was packed. And I jump up on a stage and always join them for a song, strap on the guitar, and it's really cool because you look down, it's all ladies. It's Journey, REO Speedwagon, and Sticks.
That's cool.
It's the best stage to jump on in the Twin Cities, wherever Arch Allies is playing. So everybody had a lot of fun. It was a good time. Had some friends show up that I haven't seen for the past year. It's the holidays, so we're running into those folks again, and most people are in a good mood. It just depends, how much money they lost.
And how many grandkids you have.
Depends what bar you hit after you went Christmas shopping, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Christmas in there. Yeah, right, exactly. So, Stu, how about your last week? Tell
busy.
us about it.
Of course, this time of the year, my gorgeous wife, Diana's out there shopping, spending the money that I earn because she sits on her ass and does nothing all day except watches Ellen DeGeneres. No, she knows. She
does wear a pair of shorts with a heart on them, though.
Yes, she does.
Am I going to have to go back and edit this show now?
No, I don't think so.
Does it get the explicit tag on it now?
Just let me get home.
No, I'm just worried about Diana killing him.
No. Let me get home and try to tease her into making love tonight before she hears this show tomorrow morning, all right?
Okay.
Because, she's got a couple of shows on TV she likes to watch tonight. But she Christmas shopping, our house is a disarray right now. We have 10 grandkids, so we have a lot of Christmas gifts. And Diana is a great, great shopper. She's smart. She saves money. She doesn't spend money foolishly, so I never complain about what she does. But I go home, and there's got to be 100 gifts on the floor, and she's starting to wrap them all, and I helped a little bit today. So it's chaotic, but it's fun. We're very blessed. We have 10 healthy grandkids. That was a big part of my the last couple of days. But Saturday, we live in one of the townhome in Venice Heights, and we had an association party we always put on. Number one, for two reasons. Number one, we like all our neighbors. Number two, I like people to realize that Steve Strusinski sells real estate in the Twin Cities here. So the old farts, when they're cashing in their chips and going to the high rise, they want to hire a Strewman to sell their property. So
you're getting billed for that one.
I guess so. So anyway, we had about 30, 40 people to our house, and they all bring. And we talked about this, and they all bring their favorite appetizer or hors d'oeuvre, and Diana and I supply the beer and the wine and coffee, and it's just a lot of fun to talk to the old neighbors, but we have 5, 6, 7 new neighbors every year, so you have to introduce yourselves to new neighbors. And that was a lot of fun. Lasted about 9, 10 o'clock on Saturday night, which is unusual. And then, of course, we have all the leftovers for Sunday when you guys stopped over.
So tasty.
Yeah, we had and Diana made those Parmesan chicken wings are by far the best.
Those are amazing.
The best Parmesan chicken wings you'll ever have.
Except you can thank my dad for finishing off about the last 15
Did
that
he?
were in. Oh, he hit the crock button. He's like, I'm not that hungry, Diana. The bastard took all the wings and went into the kitchen.
I had one.
And was gone for
Vaughn can thank me for even getting any of them because I left before you guys got there.
Oh,
but
man.
Hey, I was the first one there by 2 hours.
Hey, I heard you showed up kind of early, huh?
A little early.
Yeah.
That's not like me. But yeah, those were so tasty. I was gonna fill my pockets before I left. But yeah, very.
That was my weekend and working and grandkid stuff. So very blessed and having a good time. And Boomer, how was your week, buddy?
You know what? It was pretty good. A lot of it has to do with getting antsy and just getting ready for ice fishing. I was supposed to make a run out to Devil's Lake last week and for a film and a media event because Irving and Alice, those two lakes that I just talked about, the walleye bite was really hot. They had some nice ice going on out there. But just like what always happens when we're supposed to make a road trip for the outdoors.
We were boomered.
We were boomered. They had a blizzard that went through Devil's Lake, so that got rescheduled. But, got some of the ice stuff prepped, got the boat squared away in the garage, and I'll be going to see our friend Dan at Dan Southside tomorrow and maybe bringing some pizzas of those guys for all their help on the boat this year. And just getting ready for the ice season. Pretty, and trying to mingle that with Christmas shopping and find out what the Cole and Sophia are looking for from Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Because Santa Claus is coming to our house, right? So
Yeah. Well, if you're lucky. I mean, I don't know. None of us have seen his list. I'm sure Sophie's on it, though.
Yeah, I'm sure she's
on
been
the good list.
Good list, right? Yeah. So that was about it, But I'm excited about what do we got going on tonight's show now, Stu, man? You did a great job of lining up some future guests here.
We've got Rob Dreislein, and Rob is the managing editor of the Outdoor newspaper. That I told him when I talked to him a couple of days ago.
Yep.
Until I started doing the show 2.5 years ago, whatever it is, I never picked up the Outdoor News, and I'll tell you, it's my Bible. I absolutely love that newspaper.
Yeah.
And it is of value by any means. It is so fun to read, whether you are totally into outdoor hunting or fishing or not. The Outdoor News has great contributing writers, lots of great stories. In fact, we steal probably 75% of our guests from the Outdoor.
We share.
So Rob's going to be on. He's been the managing editor for a long, long time, and he's got a lot of stories and a lot of new things happening as well.
It's true. It's funny you talk about the Outdoor News, and for folks from Minnesota, that's been kind of an iconic paper for the sportsmen and women up here. I don't know if all our listeners know that, but, the way I kind of grew up in loving the outdoors is my mother was a taxidermist, so I went to a lot of these sports shows that I still go to today, and I still remember every sports show we'd get a copy of the Outdoor News, and it had the same color scheme. It was that black and green with that northern pike kind of coming up, and it's just really been a staple for outdoor information in this state. So
you've got guys like Steve Carney, Tim Lesmeister. I mean, so many great guys who contribute their stories. Joe Albert's out there, and it is fun. It's a lot bigger than the St. Paul Pioneer Press, I'll tell you.
I think they actually have a bigger booth out at the State Fair than the Pioneer Press.
Oh, it is fun. So I'm looking forward to. Rob was nice enough to spend a few time with us. He'll be on in about 5-10 minutes. And then we've got a gentleman named. We got to find him here, Larry Emery. And Larry Emery is with Blooming Valley Outfitters, and we're going to talk about bobcat hunting. He's up in Greenbush, Minnesota, and he does black bear guiding as well. So, and I don't think any of us have ever shot a bobcat, but
I've seen one. I've seen one
in the woods.
Yeah,
you really have?
In the woods, I did.
That's rare.
I shot a bobcat out in the Black Hills.
Really?
Once, yeah.
It's rare.
It's like South Dakota. Once you get your small game license out there, you can shoot coyote and bobcat year-round. That may have changed since 1988. But as of 1988, when I saw two, actually, on that.
Were you out hunting them?
No. I was hunting whitetail in the Black Hills, and it was particularly warm fall. I mean, I think it was in the Black Hills is weird, kind of a weird weather system, but it was in the 70s. I mean, that's how warm it was in November. Would have been November when we were out there hunting in the 70s. It was just one of those winters. And, so I did not get, as most years I hunted out there, I did not get a buck. You cannot get a doe in the Black Hills if you're a non-resident of that county. And so I didn't get a buck, but I did get one of the bobcats. Unfortunately, I shot it with a 300 Savage and ended up getting about $20 for it, and it should have been about a $150 pelt back
That's right.
then.
Yeah, that's big time.
Because I blew it because it had an exit,
I'm
size of a softball in it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're getting for the pelts these days. But that is the vast majority of the hunters that are out there do it for the pelt. And
that's why you trap. I mean, when I was growing up, we didn't have an allowance. Dad said, "You want some money? Here's some double spring traps. Boil them up and go out and set them." And he'd get us started with some scent and a few different things, and we went out and we trapped. And
I think you told me you got paid 25 cents a prairie dog or a gopher or something, didn't when you were a kid?
Yeah, back then, but that was to farmers would pay you that. That wasn't for their pelts. Farmers would pay you that because they were nuisances and they wanted them removed from their field because those prairie dog colonies will chew up an acre pretty quick. They'll take over some pasture land, so.
Why don't you give Rob a call and I'll tell a joke? How does that sound?
Okay, sounds good.
You know what? Before you tell that joke, I actually saw my first prairie town up at Sully's Hills National Game Preserve in Devil's Lake. They got a elk and bison out there, and they had a prairie dog.
Yep.
And you're right. There was like a million holes. But, geez, when they stand up on their back legs, that's absolutely hilarious just watching those.
My son was out there, was in South Dakota, North Dakota, about 3-4 months ago with his new gun he got from Lakes Trading Company.
Yep.
And he said it was an absolute riot watching these little dumb animals stick their head out and blow them away. That's hunting, I guess. I don't know what's all about.
Do we got the sound effects board tonight, too, in full? We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it.
So anyway, the mailman. Should I tell you about the mailman? We get time for the mailman. Mailman's December 23rd, delivering Christmas presents and mail and whatnot, and a lady meets him at the front door and says, come on in. He says, I can't. I got to deliver mail. I've got to. No, come on in. It's Christmas. Yeah. People understand that. He walks in. She's got breakfast. She's got deviled eggs. She's got just a beautiful hash brown champagne. She feeds him breakfast. He thinks this is wonderful. Well, I got a job to do. She takes him upstairs and makes love to him like nothing has ever happened. Unbelievable. She drives him, takes him to a different world. One of those things. He says, I got to get out of here, but this was really, really nice. Why me? She says, well, you know what? Last night I asked my husband, what should we get the mailman? He said, screw the mailman. She says, breakfast was my idea. That's Christmas.
That would have been
That's
a good
my
time for
Christmas joke.
All right. I like it. Rob's phone is ringing, as everyone can hear.
Hello, this is Annette Dreislein, and I am unavailable.
All right, then here's which phone number did you call, buddy?
I called the one you interview people on, the landline.
The 974?
995, yeah.
All right, we'll try the 345.
That's a cell phone.
But I tell you what, Annette sounded like that lady, the promo did last week about the very attractive lady doing the dancing thing. That's a nice voice by Annette. We have to ask Rob what his wife is all about. Anyway, we're talking. Thanks for the checking into the 4 Outdoorsmen. That we're calling Rob Dreislein, the managing editor of the Outdoor News in the Twin Cities. And if one of those guys aren't here,
and there's an awkward silence.
No,
in the studio.
if one of these guys aren't, we got to get Mark Lukey on the phone. If one of these guys aren't here, but
Mark, you could just pretend to be Rob.
Yeah.
I've reached Rob Dreislein.
Yeah. Rob, we just about let your number play on the airwaves there.
We could move to guest number 2, I guess.
Sure. Let's call Larry Emery. Let's see what he's got cooking.
And then, switch back around. All right, Larry Emery, Blooming Valley Outfitters, Bobcat and Black Bear Guide. I'll dial him up.
You know, I'm looking forward to this as well because I know nothing about bobcats, and I know that what I do know, I've been reading a lot about his job, his career, his guiding service, and there's a lot more bobcats in the state of Minnesota than people realize.
Yeah.
But they're very, very, very hard to see.
Very hard to get. Well, you know, Minnesota is made for bobcats in that it's their territory. They're very hard to find, locate, and once you get on them, I mean, they're gone. You got to have dogs.
Yeah, Mark had a great question when he was saying, we're going to interview this guy. He says, how do you, hang on. Yeah, there he goes. Is this Larry?
Yes, it is.
Larry Steve, Straczynski, 4 Outdoorsmen. I'll tell you what, we're turning the tables on you, pal, and thanks for being ready because Rob Dreislein of the Outdoor News had a commitment or something, so we're going to switch you guys around. We might pick him up later on. So I'm glad you're here because nobody wants to listen to
Nobody wants to talk to us.
No one wants to listen to us talk for about a half an hour.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry, for coming on the 4 Outdoorsmen tonight.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
So, Larry, where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm sitting up here watching it snow a little bit.
Really? In Greenbush, Minnesota. And number one, I don't know where Greenbush, Minnesota is. Tell us where Greenbush is.
It's kind of at the end of the world.
That's by War Road or something like that. Roseau.
Yeah, we're about 20 miles west of Roseau.
Hang on a second, man. I've got Vaughn is asking me a question. What's that, Vaughn? Vaughn wants to know if you're a Greenbushian. What does that mean, Vaughn? I'm not sure what a Greenbushian is.
A Greenbushian?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's kind of like a Minnesotan, isn't it?
I guess it is. Yeah. We're talking to Larry Emery.
There's got to be an inside joke there. Right?
There must be.
Is there an inside joke with Greenbush and Greenbushian?
Oh, I've never heard that term, but
well, the old man took too many Viagra, so let's just ignore him and get back to the interview.
Okay.
Larry, I'm Steve Straczynski with the 4 Outdoorsmen. We've spoken 1 or 2 times. The other voice you just heard was Boomer Stelmack. Boomer's our fishing and hunting pro, and we've got Brian Zepp, and Brian Zepp is the man as well. He's in charge of the board, and he's got more experience than anybody.
Does a lot of charity work,
but
too.
Boomer's dad, Vaughn, sneaks in once in a while and just sits in the studio and tries to screw things up like he just did. So he succeeded.
Yeah.
We're talking to Larry Emery from Blooming Valley Outfitters. Larry, tell us all about Blooming Valley Outfitters. I know you do bobcats, you do black bear. How long have you guys been around?
Well, we've been started back in the early 80s. We kind of started assisting, helping guide some moose hunts up in this country, and we used to have a moose season here. And the moose population dwindled. I seen that the bear population started coming around, and we just kind of transitioned, and we started offering guided bear hunts, and basically we've just been, growing through the years.
Now, Larry, you're by the way, this is Zepp. Hello, Larry. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
You're in a no-quota area up there in Greenbush. Explain to our listeners what a no-quota area is when it comes to black bear hunting.
Okay, well, basically, the quota area of Minnesota is what the DNR feels is the primary bear habitat in the state. And the no-quota area is what the DNR feels is more of your ag land, which isn't typical bear range, so to say.
Right. So
and a lot of your no-quota area, you won't find a bear in it. You got to get in the right areas where it kind of skirts along the quota areas.
And that's why I was curious about Blooming Valley Outfitters. Now, you chose to set up a black bear outfitting guide in a no-quota area. Immediately, a guy like myself thinks, well, do they have black bear up there? But obviously you do. I'm at bloomingvalleyoutfitters.com, and it looks like you got plenty of black bear.
Yeah, we got a very healthy population here. And up until just a couple of years ago, we were afforded where they give you 2 tags with your license where you could harvest 2 bear.
Larry, is there any?
Must be 4 or 5 years ago they did away with that.
Is there any secret then, Larry, to the habitat there, or is it just the lack of man that's up there that we have such a successful black bear population up in Greenbush?
Greenbush, yeah.
I think part of it is some of these ag lands. The bears move into the corn and the sunflower fields, and they thrive. And there's a lot of patch woods here, that got acorns and oak trees with acorns and hazelbrush and for hazelnuts and berries, plums,
Yeah, that's
there's significant
Boomer.
Zepp's
getting hungry right now.
Well, I'm just thinking if I'm a bear, I'm drooling. That's a big picnic basket there. You just mentioned all their favorite foods, and bear are like a lot of game. You just can't push them from one region of a state or a ecosystem to another. They just don't work like that. But I wonder, as Minnesota hunts a lot of those other quota areas, if bear tend to just gradually over the years push into some of those no quota areas. But I'm just thinking off the top of my head there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They've cut back on the number of tags that they've been allowing out in the quota areas here these past few years, trying to build the population, an older bear structure, an older population. What I've understood talking to some of the biologists, and I don't know, my gut feeling is I think there's a lot of bear in that area, and these bears are, they're expanding their range. It's getting more common where you're hearing these bears being further out onto the prairie than even I am.
What do guys and gals typically hunt up there? Do they hunt weekend hunts, or do you do week hunts?
We offer either like a 3 or a 5-day hunting package, and I try and encourage the 5-day hunt over the 3-day just for bettering your chance of success. But we do get people that take us up on the 3-day hunt because of the driving time to get here and, time restraints with work and whatnot. So,
one of the things when Strua mentioned Blooming Valley Outfitters, we're talking with Larry Emery up there. He's the man, and it's his outfitting operation up there. The bobcat hunts that you do. Now, for someone that's not been out on a bobcat hunt, it's a different kind of hunt. It's we used to kind of call them party hunts, and not to say I'm advocating partying and hunting or something like that, because we'd get a group of people together and dogs and everything, and it was sort of like a neighborhood thing to go out and get a bobcat. How do you guys approach? But that was over in the Dakotas. How do you guys approach it up there in Greenbush?
Well, basically, I got a group of guys that help me. We run around and. basically we look for the tracks in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we kind of keep mental notes to ourselves where, you know, what we got where, and you know, we all kind of, you know, touch base with one another, and we try to target going after, you know, a nice big mature tom. We don't want to be harvesting any small kittens or females if we can help it. We would like to harvest mature toms. And
explain kind of how the hunt goes, because it's an active hunt. If you're the kind of guy that's tired of sitting in a deer stand all the time, or, you know, even black bear hunting, kind of sitting around a bait area, talk about a bobcat hunt, because I think it's just everybody ought to get out and try and experience a good bobcat hunt. Whether you're successful or not to get a bobcat or not, it's just a fun hunt to be out on.
Well, typically, yeah, it's the thrill of listening to the hounds working a track and getting it going, and watching good dog work is the utmost thrill of it. I think, you know, if you get a harvest, if you harvest one, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
But you know, watching good dogs work and you know, the camaraderie that comes with it, you can't beat it.
Yeah, and it's bobcats. I mean, they're just to get out and hunt them. People, how quick they move, and you're in their terrain, and it's just such a crafty animal. And to get the dogs on it, and the adrenaline starts going, and you're moving, and yeah, it's exciting is the best way to put it. It's a kind of like an adrenaline. It's like being in a football game or something.
Yeah,
without getting knocked on your ass.
It's very exciting, you know. It's you know, and they take you into the thickest, damnedest jungles that you can imagine.
Of course. Yeah. Now, how often do you get bobcat hunts? I mean, is that something you can do every week?
No, we that's more of like an on-call type of a hunt. I like to make sure that we got the right conditions where they're conducive to putting on a successful hunt for a client.
Yeah.
You know, we hunt regardless, but I don't want to bring somebody in here and take them on a hunt and just chasing after the money. I want them to come in here and experience a good hunt. I'm not I take a lot of pride in results.
Yeah.
You know, Larry, it's Boomer here. When we talk about, I want to talk about treeing the cat again a little more. You know, I've seen some videos. I've never really bobcat hunted. I've seen one in my deer stand up in northern Minnesota there in Bacchus one time. But I have seen some YouTube videos of folks that tree, you know, bobcats, or not bobcats, but mountain lions. What kind of dogs you use is the first question. And then my second question, is that the same kind of dog you use to tree like a mountain lion, or when you watch these reality shows where they're hog hunting in Texas, they're running dogs after these pigs?
To bay the pigs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, you know, I use walker dogs. And there's a treeing walker dog, which is, you know, most people probably prefer to call that a coon dog. And then I also have running walkers, which they're more known as like a coyote or a foxhound. And I got a combination of them different dogs that we use. I don't know if either are better than the other. The tree dogs, I think, in my opinion, we're having better luck with those.
And is there a leader of the dogs, too, like an alpha dog that you send out first and the rest follow him on where his nose goes? Or are they all trying to...
Most definitely. We got, you know, dogs that are more talented than others. And you know, we're using, especially to get a cat going, you know, we're putting down, you know, our best dog that can cold trail this cat up and take it through the deer yards or wherever this cat may have traveled the last 6-8 hours prior to us finding his track and putting the dogs down on it, and that dog kind of gives voice accordingly as it's trailing this cat. And once it gets the cat kind of jumped out of its bed, you know, I can tell you what's going on just by listening to the tone of the dog's voice, and at that point in time, we might add another dog or two into the race, and that's when things really get exciting.
Larry, Strewman here, I've been reading all about this since I spoke to you the last couple of days, and what I'm reading, it says that you might find one bobcat for every 5 to 7 miles. If that's the case, you got to be in pretty decent shape to hunt these animals. You're running. You're
my pickup always was.
You're spending a lot of time in the woods. You're walking. You're following those dogs. You've got to be in pretty good shape. Is that accurate? Maybe one bobcat for every 5 to 7 miles.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think so on average, probably. There's pockets where you're going to find a healthier population than that, but I would say on average that's probably true.
And you're speaking about the population. I also read, and tell me if this is true based on your experience, that the population of bobcats is growing in northern Minnesota. Not too many years ago, it might have been 2,000 bobcats. That now there are 4,000 or 5,000 bobcats in northern Minnesota. What is your thought on that?
I think, I think in certain areas, where there's some timber industry going on where they're bringing, you got new plant growth or whatever, so you got food for the rabbits, which is one of the bobcat's main food sources. You got to have the food there for the cat to be there. So, I think anywhere where the fires went through, or if they're into logging and you got a lot of new generation, new growth coming, so you got your rabbits and your birds, and you're going to find bobcats.
Talking with Larry Emery, he's the owner-operator of Blooming Valley Outfitters up in Greenbush, Minnesota, and you guys are up in that neck of the woods. I'm always curious, for guys like you that are really locked into the land and working it and guiding it, how's the wolf population up there?
Plentiful.
I mean, is that something that you have to deal with? Is that something that's on your property that you come face to face with sometimes?
Oh no, we find wolf tracks all over.
Yeah,
and a lot of times, before we put down on a bobcat track, we'll try and box in an area, somewhat to try to make sure that cat hasn't left that area, and then we also are watching if there's fresh wolf tracks going in or leaving it. So we like to know too. We don't want to send a hound or two into a pack of wolves.
Right. I wonder now. I see there's some more I was reading in Outdoor News the issue before last, so a couple of weeks ago here. At the national level, they're doing some more things with the wolf. I can't keep up with it, but it may come off the endangered, and they may be reissuing hunting permits here in the next year. Is that something you'd ever be interested or offer up in Blooming Valley? I don't know how that works if outfitters can get those tags and.
Well, they did have here when they had the season a couple of years back. They did have it where I'm not 100% positive on this. But through the Bear Guides Association I'm a member of, there were different bear guides that were putting on bobcat hunts or bear hunts, I should say, or wolf hunts, and they were going out placing baits out and bringing clients in and hunting over a bait. If they would get the number of permits out where I think it's something that we would entertain.
Yeah, you bet. Blooming Valley Outfitters up in Greenbush, Minnesota. Larry, we got to kind of wrap it up here in the next couple of minutes. I was on your website earlier, and you just talked about being up there tonight for this interview and watching it snow outside. You guys offer snowmobile tours up there, too, and I believe you have cabins, because that sounds – we might have to go a little further north for our snow this year if you've got a sled, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we probably got, probably 8 inches of snow on the ground here, and they're talking we might see another 5, 6 tonight. So
really?
Oh, so are the trails open up there now?
I haven't seen any of the groomers or anything out yet. There's going to be some issues, some of the areas where the trails, we had such an unseasonably mild fall here where, a lot of the ditches and swamps, whatever, where these trails go through really aren't frozen. So it's going to take a little bit for them to get some of that stuff packed down and frozen, and they're going to have some difficulties.
All right, Larry Emery, owner-operator, Blooming Valley Outfitters up in Greenbush, Minnesota. You got your bear, you got your bobcat hunts, you've got snowmobiling.
Well, how do we reach this
canoeing,
guy?
TVing out there in the summer if you want to do a little fishing up there in the, what is it, the Roseau River?
I have no idea.
Correct. We do some fishing on the Roseau River. We got the Red River just to the west of us, which has got some tremendous catfishing, and we're just hop, skip, and a jump away from Lake of the Woods.
Larry, how many cabins have you got? Are you all-inclusive up there?
Yes, we are.
All right. How many cabins have you got?
Let's see. We got 4 or 5 different cabins. 6 different cabins that we can accommodate people in.
All right. If someone wants to reach you and they want to go on a bobcat hunt or a black bear guided hunt, how do they reach you?
They can either go on to www.bloomingvalleyoutfitters.com, and my email and phone number is on there. Otherwise, they can call my phone, which is 218-782-BEAR, or 23-27.
Sounds good to me.
Larry,
pal.
thanks for taking some time with the 4 Outdoorsmen tonight, and have yourself a fine winter up there.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you guys giving us a call.
You
All
bet.
right,
Be safe, buddy. Thanks a lot for being on.
All right, you guys take care.
You bet. Take care.
There goes Larry Emery, and we are going to get a hold of Rob Dreislein here in just a couple of minutes. I'll dial him up. But I was trying to see exactly where Greenbush was. Did we ever figure that out?
It's up by Roseau. That's what I was told.
The Roseau River, but that Roseau River, I mean, it runs a stretch. I don't know if it's exactly near Roseau or not.
Does Papa Vaughn know?
I was trying to look it up, and
have you hunted there, Dad?
Up by, not too far from Bemidji, he says.
Yeah, so it's all the way up there. And that's why Papa Vaughn asked about Greenbush. I assumed it was an inside thing, but maybe he's a move-inner up there, as they call him.
You know, Mark Lukey, our producer Mark Lukey, who is sitting back here with his feet up on his desk like he normally does, he says, ask Larry if they just hang a... That was Mark Lukey right there. Mm-hmm. Ask Larry if they hang like a mouse from a tree to bait
the bobcat?
Yeah, to bait the bobcat.
You know what I think would be pretty cool to watch is those dogs.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen those videos of them treeing mountain lions.
It's got to be a lot of work, I think.
It's an adrenaline hunt. I mean, I'm sure a lot of guys ride it out with ATVs and stuff now, but it's a moving hunt. Think about the old fox hunts, you know. You're not on a horse or whatever, but it's a moving hunt. It's a high adrenaline hunt. You've got a lot of guys on it, typically, and it's just a really unique hunt. Like I said, if you want to get out of the tree stand and see that beautiful area
I think it'd be
world.
a great experience, and I think they should outlaw the ATVs doing that thing. I think you should be in the woods without the ATVs. That's
even for deer hunting, Stu?
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what.
This is the guy that went ice fishing in a snow bear.
I'll tell you what though, Boomer. Nothing will drive me crazier than being out there and hearing people fire those things up in the dark and they're running all around.
I agree with you.
Hey, just as well get yourself an air horn and run all the deer off the
property.
property.
Of course, according to my dad now, when he takes it in the middle of the woods, he tells me that it doesn't scare the deer, right, Dad? But if I take it, it scares the deer, Zep.
Well, they've got those electric motor ones. They're not true ATVs, but those little electric motor ones to go out there. You know, we use them out on the property. We use the heck out of them, and they're a great way to get around from one end of the property to the other. You're not in the big truck. Of course, that's not as warm when it's cold out, but... so they serve a purpose, but some people just way overdo it.
I agree.
They're just like you have some irresponsible hunters. They get irresponsible with those, and it can ruin a hunt on adjacent property. But absolutely, they should be part of the hunt and, or part of the preparation for the hunt and the post hunt and getting equipment and hauling deer in and out. But
I agree.
But you can't use them to hunt deer anyway. I mean, it's illegal to use them.
I've got friends up in Cloquet who think it's hunting, and this is maybe your property as well. And more power to you because you've got private land. But Ernie Zelenka is one of these guys who's hunted for many, many years up in Cloquet Meadowlands, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, his property is where they made the movie, not Never Cry Wolf.
Dances with Wolves.
No, it's the one where they had the dog sled race. Walt Disney won dog sled race from...
Mush.
No, who cares? Anyway, but his idea of hunting is
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Well, he was in one of those.
Lucille Ball was in it. You take the four-wheeler from the cabin, go drive it to the tree, sit in the tree, take the four-wheeler home. Yeah. That's not hunting to me. I'm sorry, that's not hunting to me. Sorry. But I'll still go on your land and do it, Papa Vaughn.
Hey, Dad, we're going to make Stru's ass walk the whole time. And then when we shoot a big buck, Zep, we're going to make Stru drag that son of a gun through the woods.
Drag it out, pal.
Yeah, didn't you take a book instead of a gun to a deer stand once?
I've done it more than once.
All right.
And my dad made fun of me and got upset.
We're going to call Rob.
Let's call Dr. Rob. Okay. See what he's up. You guys know I spent some time with Rob up at Ice Team, that photo shoot up there with Clam and Vexar the last couple of years. He gets up there every year.
Then you're in charge of this interview.
Yeah, we both stayed at Chase on the Lake up there, and he was with Talkin' Terry Tuma, who's with Outdoor News. Yep.
Good. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the man. Then you're in charge. Zep, let's lay back and let Boomer take over. All right.
All right. I'll be on the sound machine. I got some questions for Rob.
That's scary.
Hey, Rob Dreislein. Welcome to the 4 Outdoorsmen. This is Zep here with Boomer and Stru and Mark Lukey and Papa Vaughn, and little Sophie's in here with us tonight. Even.
Yes, she is.
Pleasure to be with you guys.
I was going to say Happy Christmas. What's wrong? I said Merry Birthday to somebody yesterday. It's that time of the year. I don't know if I'm coming or going. Well, Rob, thanks for joining us tonight. And how long have you been the editor at Outdoor News?
I've been at the Outdoor News Publications for going on 19 years.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Good for you. 1997 I was hired, yeah.
I think most of us here are subscribers. I'm a subscriber. Before that, I was just on the website. I'd grab one when I was out at the fair, of course. I'd swing by the booth and look at the I don't know, the huge bass that you've got mounted up there. But
monster crappie, I always
call
them.
Record fish.
Yeah, record fish out there. And but I'll tell you, for folks out there like myself that just used to pop on OutdoorNews.com, get yourself the publication. There's so much more, as there should be, when you get the paper. There's so much more content in the paper. And unlike a lot of newspapers, the further you go into it, I think the better some of the articles get. And I love all those little op-ed pieces that you've got in there. So I encourage people, it comes. How often does it come? I don't know. I've got a stack by the fireplace.
It's every week, I believe. It's every week, right?
And by the way, it'll burn up
pretty
weekly,
good, baby. Yeah,
weekly.
Tuesday is our deadline, so we got another one off to the press here today.
And Rob, I told you when I wasn't trying to kiss your backside by any means, I told you when we spoke a couple of days back, it is my Bible. Even if I was not a hunter or fisher person, I love your contributing writers. You guys have some great, great guys who write stories that are very interesting, and it's just a lot of fun. So it's a great publication, and thanks for putting it out.
Well, I appreciate all the fine compliments, guys. Yeah, we work hard on it every week, and it's nice to get the kind of response I'm hearing from you guys to know that people appreciate it.
And we steal about 90% of our guests from your newspaper.
Well, yeah, Robin. Boomer here, and I just wanted to say thanks to you and talking Terry Tuma from last year's Ice Shots, because I was able to steal that hole from you guys after you guys were piling the crappies out of it and get some good photo work. So, hey, Rob.
We'll be there again this year, guys. So.
That's going to be awesome. So where are you at tonight, Rob?
You know what? I took the lovely bride to see Star Wars. We found ourselves with all our kids busy this evening, and we were like, hey, let's go catch a movie.
Are you telling me that you are pulled away from Star Wars to join us on the 4 Outdoorsmen tonight?
You guys are absolutely worth it.
Oh, my goodness. Drew,
you know what?
I can't believe you
know what drove me crazy about the ending of that movie? It was I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. I have not seen it. All right, well, Rob, let's move on. Tell us about the show that Outdoor News is involved with coming up here in February.
Well, thanks a lot for asking, and I believe, Brian, I believe you might be there.
I am definitely going to be there.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, you know what? We've just thought for several years, Minnesota is one of the few states with as big a whitetail deer hunting population of hunters that doesn't have a really great big deer show. And we just said, you know what? No one is in a better position. No one owns the market better than us to put on a great deer show. So let's do it. And so we're getting into the show business. It's the last weekend in February. We expect a couple hundred exhibitors. We expect many, many thousands of attendees. We got great seminar speakers. We got Ron Spomer, Gary Clancy, all the names that you see in Outdoor News that you guys were just raving about. The storytellers you said you like, they're all going to be there. We're going to have all.
That's going to be a big show. Rob, you know what? I'm going to because you're in a movie theater, and we've all done this, we've had to step out because the kid was calling and had a flat tire on the way to Mankato or something, and you're getting some bad reception. And
I'm sorry.
No, we keep losing you. Here's the deal. We're going to talk a little bit about the 2016 Outdoor News Deer and Turkey Show coming up in February, and we've got a lot of time between now and then, so we're going to nail you down, and we're going to talk about this show a lot more and get it up on our website. Get back in there before you miss too much of the movie. And Rob, may the force be with you.
Perfectly said. Have a great evening, guys.
We're gonna have him back on as well, right?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Get after it. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Rob. May the force be with you.
Yep, he's gone. Yeah, that's we've been in those movies. Those things are like bunkers. You can't call in or call out.
I can't believe the guy skipped Star Wars with his family.
Yeah, well, when the big guy over there, the Mark Lukey, the enforcer, we call
the executive decision.
Yeah, when he gets, when he calls you, then
he's
you
kind of like
jump
John
too.
Travolta.
I'll tell you what, Mark. One thing that Rob mentioned that hits home is that we have as much deer hunting in the state of Minnesota as any place in this
it's
country.
A holiday,
and we should have a bigger deer classic than we've had for years at Blaine, which has been fun, but. Cindy Jo Schlower from Dirt Road Dixie.
Yeah.
Last year played at the Iowa State Deer Classic, and they got invited to play this year at the Deer Classic. She
That's
said
huge.
It is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. I've heard about that.
You remember Thane
coming in, always talks turkey hunting with us. You know, he's from that Cedar Falls, Iowa area, and he always talks about you need to get down there.
Good Lord, I was just watching a show the other day, and I forget which show it was on the Sportsman channel, because there's literally 100 deer shows, and they were doing Iowa buck down there, and you're like, they're standing around in a herd, and they're all 150 plus.
Yeah, they're all 150
He's
plus.
Like, well, that's a 4-year-old, probably scores in about a 160, but we're going to let him go today. Oh, did you see that big, pretty one over there? I would just close my eyes and shoot.
It's unfair to watch an Iowa deer hunting show. I agree.
People are going to be scheduling things here this winter, so I want you to go ahead out there listening and circle that last weekend, February 26th through the 28th on your calendar. Get up there one of those days. And when I say up there, I mean the Warner Coliseum over at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. So bring your horse.
Right by Papa
I'm sure they'll
Vaughn's
let you
house.
lap it around. Yeah, bring your just don't bring your horse.
Park in my dad's driveway. He'd love it.
And the nice thing, this is what we already know after not really having a chance to talk to Rob. It's outdoor news. So they're going to have the big hitters there. I mean, they've got the clout. When Outdoor News calls, you're going to come to the show, and I'm talking about the celebrities that they're going to have there, the seminars. It's going to be top-notch. But put it on your calendar so you go, not that weekend, or if you got something on Saturday, you're going on Sunday. We'll fill in all the details, and, of course, you'll find a lot of details at outdoornews.com or in the paper.
One of the things I wanted to ask Rob about, because I read his article every week in the Outdoor News, and again, thanks for publishing this newspaper. It is fun whether you're a hunter or a fisher person. Lots of great stories.
We honestly wouldn't let Drew on the show if that paper didn't exist.
You wouldn't have any guess. But you know what CREP, they call it CREP 3, right? You know what this is all about?
Yeah.
The Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, CREP 3, and that's a big deal coming in 2016. They plan on putting 100,000 acres of Minnesota under permanent conservation easements, and the key word here is permanent. And what I'm reading here is that for every 5 acres, is it 5 acres? Every 4 acres equates to 1 rooster. That doesn't seem like a lot of birds.
Well,
for every 4 acres they put in this conservation program,
that's as bad as bobcats.
It's 1 rooster that they're going to.
That doesn't. I mean, South Dakota. I mean, it's like every 4 acres is like 2,000.
It says here, so adding
100,000
acres means boasting or boosting Minnesota's pheasant kill by 25,000 birds. But that's good of 100,000 acres, but somehow.
Well, you know what, though? I'm glad we're doing something. I might go on a soapbox here because we've been losing CRP land in this state dramatically over the last few years. I mean, I remember the last 5 to 10 years seeing all the forecasts and you know what? And we were victims to ourselves with crop prices. And I can't blame the farmers.
Crop prices.
I can't blame the farmers.
And the fuel prices are down, so everybody's going to plant because that's a large portion of your operating costs.
We pushed them to do. We pushed all the corn with ethanol, and then soy. I mean, I can't. I love the outdoors, as you guys know that, and I believe in conservation and sportsmen and women are a big piece that we have the habitat we do for all the anti-hunters out there, but. I can't really blame the farmers. What do you guys think?
I grew up in a small farm out in South Dakota. And when I say small farm, 2 sections or less, I think is a smaller farm, especially out in the Dakotas where you have so much more land. Here in Minnesota, that might be a medium-sized farm. But a small farm out there, and my dad got into conservation. He built the pheasant land up and all of that stuff, but he didn't do it until he was about retired, until he got to because like he said, he couldn't afford to because you had a family to feed, and the prices would go way up one year, and then they go way down the next year.
Yeah, you can't blame them.
It's a supply and demand business, and then operating costs would go way up or they'd come down, and you had to farm everything to make your payments, to keep your farm, to keep operating. It wasn't gosh, of course, my dad lives, eats, and breathes hunting and fishing. Naturally, he would like to conserve as much of that land as he could to keep our whitetail population, to keep, even back then before it was a business, to keep our pheasant population robust. But that's not, you don't have that option out there. No. He didn't at that time. He worked his way finally to that option, and with retirement, starting the pheasant operation, getting game fishing parks involved. So don't be too hard on the farmers. It's real easy to sit back here and go, I want to go hunting. Where's my CRP land?
Yeah.
Where's my,
I completely agree.
My habitat. However, there is a middle ground there too, and they can come in a little bit, and we can be maybe a little bit more understanding as outdoorsmen, and I don't know. It's a slippery slope, but at the end of the day, Minnesota has a great deer population again this year. We've had an amazing harvest considering where we were at where we were at last year. Yeah. And you can hunt, unlike my state. I think everything here. You can actually go out and have a okay pheasant hunt if you want. But look, you can go out waterfowl. Turkeys. Look how well you can do it. By the way, that's a turkey show as well that Outdoor News is doing.
You know what I love the term about what you can do in Minnesota, because we have such an overlap between our fishing and hunting seasons. But a lot of times when I'm on a road trip, and I'm sure, Zepp, you've done it, Stu, Mark, Dad's done, calling it a cast and blast.
Yes.
Because we can go fishing in April, and then we can go turkey hunting. I mean, we can hunt in the fall, and then we can go fishing. So we are really blessed to really have an outdoors environment where you can hunt about anything, and hunt and fish. There's always something going on during the year.
I lived in Seattle, Washington when I was in high school, and a lot of people want to leave Minnesota because of the winters and whatnot. When I lived in Seattle, Washington, and when I was a kid, I wasn't crazy about all that stuff as well. But when you live in Seattle, Washington, or someplace like that for a year, you miss the seasons real quickly. And the anticipation of spring, the anticipation of hunting in the fall, all that, you really, really miss it. We live in a great, great state. We're pretty blessed, man.
Yeah, so where's this money coming from then, Stu? I mean, I know it was a teaser, and we're going to talk to Rob about it, but this 100,000 acres that we're going to permanently put away for easement and conservation.
Yep.
Where's the money? Is it private land we're buying? Is it public land they're locking down? Or
how the hell am I supposed to know?
Well, you're Stu. make it up on there.
I'll make it up on it. I really don't know. I don't know. But that's what Rob is for. We got to interview Rob.
Oh, do they?
Hey, Zepp, I'm going to ask you a serious question before we get off the air, because we're going to wrap it up. I know you got a big project ahead of you.
Yeah.
Okay, your family. How long has your family had the game farm, whatever it is, up in South Dakota?
Gosh, it's been a while. I want to say we started it probably early 90s.
Here on South Dakota, too, right?
And your dad is how old?
Dad just turned 70.
Okay, and he's got maybe another 5-10 years left of running this thing, and Mom about the same thing.
Much closer to 5 than 10.
All right.
You know what? They're at that point.
And when the old man pulls the plug, what does Brian Zepp do?
Well, I think honestly, I'd plug him back in. I like the old dude; he's all right. I don't know it. Those aren't the kind of things you think about. Naturally. Here's what we do know, my brother and sister. Here's what we do know: that we've got a piece of property. We have land on a planet where they're not making any more land, and we'll keep that land, and it's special to us.
Yeah.
And what we'll do with it, as far as I'll always hunt it. I'll always fish it. I know that. As far as what we'll do with the business, who knows? Okay. Depends. I might be very willing and ready to get out there and throw my feet up.
So if that cheap son of a bitch you call your father is not going to invite us up the next 5 years, 10 years down the road, you will invite us up there.
Hang in there, guys. Sooner or later, I will charge you a lot of money to come out and hunt with me. No, that's something to think about. But guys, we're getting to that part of the show where we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
And didn't know if there was something you guys wanted to kind of wrap it up with this week, or we'll just come back again next Tuesday. Dive back in with the Cool Outdoorsman. I also want to say it's that time of the year. Winter is upon us. I want to thank Lakes Trading Company for being a sponsor up there, because this is the time of the year I love to grab the handgun. They've got 25 lanes up there, and get your yayas out. You get a little cabin fever going, get up to Lakes Trading Company and do a little shooting. I want to thank Coors Light so much.
Devil's Lake, North Dakota Tourism. There's ice out there. The Lake Irving and Alice had a great bite in 6 to 7 feet of water with 8 to 10 inches of ice. Can't wait to get out there, Stu. Our film and media event's been pushed out till the middle of January. So we'll get out there to Devil's Lake, North Dakota.
I'll be there unless I'm boomered again.
Unless we're boomered.